The Untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing game's been missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, this video is going to be very similar to a video I did on Josh Taylor recently, where I talked about my first time meeting Josh Taylor and what it was like meeting Josh Taylor. And it's gonna be that same type of video, but instead of Josh Taylor, this time it'll be Teofimo Lopez, one of the Davey Powell's very own. Now, I was invited to go down to his camp recently, and I had a chance to watch Teo spar. I won't get into too much of the details of seeing him spar, but all I can tell you is that he looked fantastic, and he's going to be ready for June 19th against George Kambosos. That much I can tell you. Now, this is my first time meeting Teofimo Lopez, surprisingly, and the reason that this is so surprising to me is because, back when I was 19 years old, I'm 26 years old now. Back when I was 19 years old, I picked up boxing gloves for the first time, and I learned how to box at a Canino's boxing gym in Dania Beach, Florida, right? And that was around like 2015, like early 2015. And around that time, I was sparring with a kid, our fighter down there regularly, and he's a professional now, Gabriel Chacon. Gabriel Chacon, a good technical fighter, solid, amateur around the state, solid state amateur in Florida. He actually fought Teofimo in the Golden Gloves, and around the time he fought Teofimo in the Golden Gloves, I was sparring him, here and there. And so I've always had that connection to Teofimo Lopez. Gabe, like many people in Florida, lost to Teo in the Florida Golden Gloves, and that was that. Also, Teofimo Lopez and I have a mutual friend. I don't know the kid's actual name, but there's this kid in our area named Slick Vic, this little white kid, and he's a good fighter, fantastic fighter. And I don't know by his actual name, but I just know him as Slick Vic, and that's what people call him. And I used to see Slick Vic and his father around South Florida all the time. And I remember one time, like back in 2017, I ran into them at 7-Eleven when I was getting some snacks in the middle of the night before I went to go do some videos. And Slick Vic and his dad were telling me all about Teofimo Lopez. They told me that he was going to be a great fighter, a special fighter, all these things, this, that, and the third. They told me, never bet against Teofimo Lopez because he's going to be a truly special fighter, right? So then that happened. And then back in those days, I was working, while I was doing this here on YouTube, I was working at a place called Antonio's Pizza on East Dania Beach Boulevard. It's not there no more, but I used to work there for a number of years. And I was pizza man. And apparently Slick Vic and his father, they came to visit me at my job one day, but I wasn't there. And then I never saw them again. I never saw them again after that one little, when I saw them at 7-Eleven. So my boss that worked there, he told me that Slick Vic and his father came there with a boxer that was going to be world champion, but he didn't know who he was, and I never got confirmation of who it was. So for years and years and years, I had to wonder about who the hell was this boxer that came to visit me at my job. So I finally meet Teofimo Lopez. We go to the City Athletic Boxing Gym in Las Vegas. I say, "What's up, Teo?" Shake his hand. Very respectful guy. He's kind of like what you see, what you get with Teo. I don't think he was much different off camera than when you see him on camera. You're very, very much the same guy. When I talked to Teo, I was telling him my story about Slick Vic and his father, and I was telling him about how basically what happened at my job, and he knew about Antonio's Pizza, and he confirmed that it was him. So I was supposed to meet Teofimo Lopez in 2017 before any of this even happened. And our paths finally crossed. Now he's at a high level in boxing as far as the fighter. I'm still very much, rising in the YouTube game and covering the sport media-wise. But I feel like I'm at a pretty good level now. Like people know this face. I'm more well-known than I think sometimes. So, it's beautiful the way it played out. And just overall with Teo, he's somebody that, when you look into his eyes, he's got a deep conviction and a deep love for this sport. That's the one thing I took away from talking to him was his love for boxing. Even now, because a lot of times fighters get to the level he's at, and they fight on these big shows and they fight on TV, and the business of boxing can turn them sour and bitter. And there's a bit of that there with Teo, like there is anybody at that level, because boxing can do that to even the most optimistic person. But with Teo, he still has that deep love and conviction for the sport of boxing, and that's probably the one thing I took from talking to him. I had a chance to get some questions that I've had about him answered. I didn't have to press him about them because he was happy to answer them. One question that I've had for a long time, because it did rub me the wrong way, was how on TV, on ESPN, he was always saying that he was from Brooklyn and he never gave any credit or props to South Florida. And when I talked to him and I spoke to him, he cleared it up real good, like really well. He stated that with Bob Arum and Top Rank, they pushed him to promote that, and that's what they wanted him to promote. They didn't want to promote the fact that he's from South Florida, but in the interview, he very much claimed his South Florida roots, and he seemed just genuinely proud of being from South Florida. That he learned to box at the Dade Powell. Obviously there's still a bit of resentment and things. I don't know what about who or what in South Florida, but somebody in South Florida pissed him off because he had a lot to say when we talked about South Florida. But he's very proud of where he's from, and I walked away meeting Teofimo Lopez, a much bigger fan of his. He's someone that when you get in his presence, you get the sense, and I'm not saying this because I'm a fan of his. I'm not saying this because he let me in his camp or anything like that. I'm being honest. When you get around Tio, you get the sense that you're in the presence of a special fighter. Like at least with me, I've been around a lot of fighters. I've been around fighters regularly, on the regular, for the last 6 years or some change now. And when I'm around Teofimo Lopez, when I was around Teofimo Lopez, the first time I met him, I got the sense that not only was I around a guy who believed in himself, not only was I around a guy who had this deep conviction and love for boxing, but I was around a guy that is truly becoming one of the best fighters in the sport before our eyes. And he's one of those special talents that you'll only see once every 10, 15, 20 years. That's the sense I got from being around Teofimo Lopez. And that's what it is, man. Him and his dad are very passionate. They brought in great sparring partners. They're sparring with the likes of Brandon Pizarro, who's a young fighter in boxing, but he has a lot of experience. He's got a long, strong Philadelphia jab, as I like to call it. They brought in my boy Dominique Trap Francis, one of South Florida's very own, a guy that's very familiar with Teofimo Lopez. One of the future stars of this sport, one of the future champions of 122 or 126. Any weight class he step into, he gonna be a world champion. I'll guarantee you it. But overall, my first impression meeting Teofimo Lopez actually went a lot better than I thought it would, because there were certain things about him that really, in some ways, impressed me. He was a lot more profound. I won't say profound, more intelligent than I thought he was. I knew he was an intelligent guy, but he was more intelligent than I thought he was. I knew he was smart, but he was smarter than I thought he was. I knew he was a fantastic fighter, but he was even a better fighter than I thought he was when I watched him spar. So that's what it is, man. He's right now he's one of the top 5 pound for pound fighters in boxing, and he's one of the fighters in boxing right now. He's running the game right now, and your boy BT here, the Untouchable, we're running the game here on YouTube. So you got 2 South Florida boys involved in boxing, running the game, and you can't ask for anything better than that. So shout out to Teofimo Lopez, shout out to the whole Lopez family, the camp, and I look forward to meeting Teofimo again. I'm gonna be going there again this coming week, and hopefully my second visit is better than the first. And the first one was pretty damn good. So we'll see what happens. You guys let me know what you think in the comments down below. Make sure you take the time to subscribe, like I say in every single one of these videos. You can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid. Until next time, take care, guys.
The Untouchable.